my fellow comic book collectors. Today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays I do my Q&A session where I basically answer your questions. And this time we got a bit of a special thing going on here. I was trying to do the comic wall like that I had in my previous house, and it just wasn't working. It just wasn't working, whatever reason. I tried and it just kind of looked lame. And so what I decided to do was make not a comic wall, but a comic throne. So this is like I'm sitting in a chair. I usually stand during my videos, but I'm actually sitting down for once. And I basically surrounded myself with comics. So then some I'll show you, like you can see it's like kind of like little comics over there, little comics over there. And yeah, it's just like a comic throne. So in behind me is like my case that I use to store all my comic supplies. And then around it, I built up through my comic boxes sort of like tiers to kind of just be like pedestals for the comics to sit upon. It's my temporary solution to not having a proper layout in my comic room. So once I get a proper layout, I will do better. And I'm actually meeting with somebody on Thursday, so tomorrow, to basically kind of lay out the comic room, and they're going to come up with a design. I'm going to show some of the designs that people who watch my channel kind of recommended to me, and I'm going to play around with it. Hopefully we can come up with something where it can store lots of comics and have the functionality of displaying a lot of comics. I kind of want to meet display and functionality of storage. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Right now it's the comic throne, and I'm not sure how long this will be the state, but at least it's just for fun. I'm going to try to do something better. I'll come up with different ideas, but if you have an idea, put it in the comments below, and I will probably use it, because my ideas kind of suck. but I hope you enjoyed the comic throne. So this week we only have 2 questions, but they're both good questions, and actually I have a lot to show just based on these 2 questions. So the first question comes from Comic Book Ninja. What are your thoughts on Conan the Barbarian? So I was actually a big fan of Conan the Barbarian, and actually I was a big Dungeons and Dragons fan. So typically in Dungeons and Dragons, one of the characters that I would play were barbarians, because I liked the fact that they could get, wield huge swords. They had more stamina, so that they could, or constitution, I should say, and they would, have extra hit points. So I kind of like that. They'd be kind of a cool character to play. So I actually liked Conan the Barbarian for that reason, and also for the reason of I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was just he really did a great job of that movie. It was just such a fun movie. I liked the original and the sequel. But the new modern version I didn't like as much. But I did enjoy the original Conan movies. Now the comic I picked up for that reason. A lot of the time when I buy comics, it's because I like a movie or TV series or something, and I generally will pick up the comic related to it. So with that in mind, your next question was, can you share some of your Conan comics in your next Q&A? Yes, I can. And I will show you my Conan collection. It's not a big collection, and I'll explain that as I show it. But I do have, obviously, Conan the Barbarian #1. I love like these covers. Just really awesome cover. So yeah, just everything that you can think of for that kind of barbarian kind of like guy, wearing very little clothing, wielding a sword and a spear, and saving the woman in distress. I don't know, just a lot going for it. This is his first appearance. This is from 1970, and it's Roy Thomas story and Barry Windsor Smith cover. Just lots going for this book. you know, Barry Windsor Smith, he was the man for Conan art. Just have to say, he is really great. Okay, so then we got, I don't have like a run, but I was trying to sort of pick up the key issues from Conan. And so we got Conan number 6. And I believe this is the first appearance of like the area that he's from. Yeah. I think it's like Shadizar. This is the first appearance of Shadizar. And then we got Conan number 7. Great snake cover. And yeah, so that's just a good one. Then we got Conan number 14. This is the first appearance of Elric. Kind of a key issue for Conan. And we got number 23. And this is the reason I actually really got into Conan, is I like Red Sonja. So this is the first appearance of Red Sonja. And I would actually say it's the first full appearance of Red Sonja, because she is throughout the whole thing. I think she's in like 20 some odd panels. So whenever they say this is the cameo appearance, I think they're mistaken. So this is the first appearance of Red Sonja, which is Conan the Barbarian 23. And then we got Conan the Barbarian 24. And this is the first cover appearance. And this is kind of the original style to Red Sonja. So, you know, where she had that kind of chainmail vest. And then we got Conan the Barbarian number 223. It's just a great cover. I forgot, actually it's a key appearance as well, but I just don't remember what it was. And then we got Conan the Barbarian Annual number 2. I believe this is the first appearance of Tooth Amun, or Toth Amun. Okay. And, or Thoth Amun. Thoth Amun. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. And then we got more recent stuff. They, you know, there was a issue 300 that just came out recently, maybe in the last few months ago. So, got that. And then they created a series. I think that Marvel is going to lose the rights to Conan, and he's going to go back to some other publisher. So, but they did come out with a series called King Conan. I just thought this was kind of cool because you got all the different Conan covers and stuff embedded into the cover, and it makes this kind of collage. That was kind of cool. And another series kind of related to Conan was Kull. Say Kull the Conqueror. So this is another cool series. And as I said, I really did like Red Sonja, and this is Red Sonja number 1. I actually have the complete run of Red Sonja, so I have actually a better collection of Red Sonja than I do of Conan. And I like this style of Red Sonja where she's wearing the kind of the metal bustier. This is, I believe this is the second series, number 1. And then I have her first series, number 1. And this is really the first time where she wears that kind of style costume. And I always liked Red Sonja. I always thought she was cool. So that's my Conan collection. Not a very big collection. I have a few of the Savage Swords as well. It's just not, I just didn't collect it a lot, but I did have a bit in the collection. For some reason, I always saw Conan as less desirable in terms of collecting. I always thought it was like kind of something that was very common, because I always saw it like whenever I went to the flea market, I don't know why, it seemed like everybody had Conan books, so it kind of instilled in my mind that they're affordable because they were always dollar bin. So but I know there are some big keys for Conan, and actually some of those books can be quite expensive. So, but I actually do enjoy Conan. I think it's quite good. The series that I enjoy right now is what's it called? the seminarian or Simonin. You probably know what I'm talking about. It's the one where it's basically like Conan, but as if without the censorship. It's more of a, and it has like, it has nudity. It has like, it's a bit more violent. So it's a much more interesting version of Conan. And I have been enjoying it. Is Similarian or no? I don't know. I'm trying to remember how to pronounce it, how to say it. I don't know why I'm forgetting. I've read the series and I forgot. But I have been enjoying that one. So, which just sounds really sad. I don't remember how to say it. But next question. Sometimes. Okay. Comic Meg Musings wrote, during your move, did you find or discover any cool comic books that you had either forgotten that you had, or hadn't been able to recover in a while, or hadn't seemed to be, or hadn't seen in many years? If so, can you please show some examples? Okay, so Comic Meg Musings. Actually, I found a bunch of things. And really, I found a whole box that I didn't even realize. I forgot. And well, it wasn't that I didn't realize that I had. I knew about it, but didn't really know. And I forgot what was in it. And forgot some of the stuff that was associated to the collection. Because like, this has a little bit of a story behind it. Because what happened was, when I met my wife, she was studying English in Canada. I know this sounds weird, but it will make sense. And she was studying English in Canada, and we met, and I really liked her. So she had to go back to Korea, where she's from, and so I went with her. So while I was in Korea, I was earning all this money, but I had nowhere to spend it, really. So what I was doing was, all the money that I had, because I had no expenses, my room and board were basically covered by the school, and I just had money to play with. So I basically used the money that I was earning while working in Korea to basically buy comics. So I was buying, at the time I collected Warren Publishing, mainly focused on Warren Publishing. I had pretty much most of the US collection by the time that I'd gone off to Korea. This was around 1996. But I didn't have a lot of the foreign issues of Warren. So around that time, eBay was just starting to come out, and it was really awkward to use eBay, but I actually was using it and making connections all over the world for Warren Publishing. And what I would do is I didn't want to ship the books to Korea because it didn't make sense, because I knew I was going to come back eventually to Canada. So I was shipping them all to my parents' house in Nova Scotia. So then eventually, I got all that stuff back, and it got brought to my house. But it just, in the process, I never really, I saw it briefly, but I never actually got a chance to really enjoy it, because I went back home, then we moved again, and then we moved again. And so it just sort of got mixed into a collection that was constantly getting moved, but I never got to see it very often. So I really didn't get to enjoy parts of my Warren collection that I had gotten while I was in Korea. And that's what this box is. It's just stuff that I had gotten while I was away and just never really, and as I was kind of going through all this stuff, I got to find it again. So, and actually kind of look through it, and it was kind of cool stuff. So I'm going to show you what's inside this box. This box that has a whole bunch of stuff in it. Also, I did find as well, so I'm going to show you one other thing that was in a different box, but I thought it was cool that I have it, and it's a cool book, is Heavy Metal #1. So this was just another book that I thought, wow, that's really cool that I own that. And I knew I had it, I just didn't know where it was, and so I found it, and I was like, oh, cool, I had that. So, it's a book that, and it's actually in really high grade. It's I'd say a 9.0, it's quite high. Very nice copy of Heavy Metal #1. So that was kind of cool. And then there was this box. And this box had a whole bunch of kind of cool stuff related to Warren Publishing. As I said, that's kind of what I collected for many, many years. Like I was really into collecting everything related to Warren Publishing. Even more so that if I had the choice during the 90s, really, mainly, that was when I was into it, that I would choose like sort of rare Warren items over comics. I was kind of more focused on the Warren Publishing and the Warren magazines and Warren related paraphernalia. And that's what a lot of this stuff is in here. So one of the cool things that Warren did is they were involved with the New York comic art convention scene, and they would actually publish books. So this is the 1972 Comic Art Convention, and this was published by Warren. So you got this, and it actually says at the very bottom, Warren Publishing. So not many people realize that this is actually part of the Warren collection, that these what are they called? Like convention programs or convention books were part of, like, if you want to get the complete Warren collection, which I have, you have to get all these. And there's a bunch of them. So there's 1972. And there's obviously 1973. And this one's kind of cool because it also shows it shows the 1972 book. And on the back, it has, you know, Uncle Creepy, Vampirella, and Cousin Eerie on the back. You can see that it has a thing all about Warren. So that's kind of cool. And there's other years. So we got 1976 and 1975. So these were all kind of cool. And on the back, this was something that was really cool about a lot of the Warren magazines. They'd always talk about the fact that they were going to make a major motion picture from Hammered Films that produced a lot of horror movies, and they were going to make a Vampirella movie. This was in works for the longest time. Never happened. Never happened. But eventually they did make a Vampirella movie, but it was terrible. It was so bad that it's actually quite funny to watch and actually quite interesting to watch. I actually have the Vampirella movie on VHS because it's so bad, and it's actually a really good watch because it's just so bad. But yeah, so this was a movie that they kept on talking about that they were going to make but never did. But I thought it was a really great Silver Surfer cover, by the way. So this is the 1975 convention book. And what else is inside? There's a lot more in this box. I'm not going to show it all because it's just too much, but I will show a bit. So other things that I had were like the Vampirella, like these are from Harris Publishing. They were like Vampirella cards, like, you know, different covers from things. Also, they came out with a classic, like this was from, I forgot which one it was, but it was one of the, I think it's either not Dynamite or Dymino, or what's it called? I'm trying to remember the name of the company that took over the rights for Famous Monsters. But they produced these kind of classic cards. I have the original cards for Famous Monsters as well. And they also created, and this was, I believe this is Harris. They created like a creepy card collection. Okay. See all the Uncle Creepy on the back. It has like all the covers from the different things. So this is my unopened copy of it. And then there was another classic card set. So I have all these different ones. This one's like sort of like lobby cards of all the sort of famous monster movies. And then we got another set. So there was two sets that make the whole card set for Famous Monsters. And then there was even a button set. So here's a little button set. These are later. Like, they're not from the Warren era, but they're from like, this is from Dark Horse. So Dark Horse produced a lot of these things. And what else is inside here? So there's still more. Then we got this. I believe this is Warren era, or maybe not. I'm not sure if it's actually Warren era. I don't think it is actually. It looks too new. I have the original ones, but this is the Famous Monsters of Filmland. And now inside the box is actually some pretty cool stuff. So it's all like foreign issues of Warren stuff. So this is Comics International. And this is like kind of a Spanish, I believe. I believe it's Spanish. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I think it's Spanish. It looks Spanish. It says pesos, so Spanish edition. And then this is like a French one, or actually, is it French? Yeah, it's French. So these are kind of cool, like monster magazines. I would sort of collect. Actually, I think this might be this one. Yeah, this would be probably Spanish as well, because it's Teuton is the name of the Teuton. That's the name of the company that had the rights in Spain to publish Warren. So, and then there's lots of stuff in here. It's kind of a cool book box. I believe this. I'm not sure where this is from. It looks like. I think it's Spanish as well. So this is Vampirella, Spanish Vampirella. Kind of a cool one. And this, so this is actually super cool, not only because this, so what happened is, if you look at this, you think, oh, it's, you know, kind of cool. It's just the Spanish version. But this right here, this is actually a sticker. Now, normally it's a really bad thing to have somebody put a sticker onto your magazine. But in this case, this sticker is actually super rare. It's a really valuable sticker. The sticker is more valuable than the magazine. So this sticker is like just really rare. They were sold at the back of Warren Publishing, and somebody had stuck the sticker onto the magazine, but it's a really hard to find sticker. So, and it's in really great shape, actually, the sticker. So that's why this is kind of a cool thing. And I was like, I found this, I didn't even realize that this was like this. I just thought it was like the magazine, but I noticed later that, you know, you could feel that it was a sticker. So that sticker is super rare. So it's kind of nice to have that. So that was kind of cool. That's something I discovered in this whole moving process. And then some other cool things inside here is we got, this is French edition. This is like the albums. They created like these Vampirella albums, and they're really thick. You can see how thick they are. And this would be like sort of reprints from the, in French, of Warren's Vampirella. And I'm going to show you some more. Oof. Then we got similar stuff with Creepy. This is the French Creepy, album number 2. And these are quite rare. This is with Vizetta art too, which is kind of makes it extra special. And then we got Jack Davis cover. This is the same cover as Creepy number 1. And it's kind of a, you know, kind of a cool book. So these are all the French ones. And what else? There's like so much stuff in here. One second. I'm just kind of moving it around so I can manipulate it a bit. And then we got, these ones look like Australian. These are the Australian Creepies. This is Creepy number 17 from Australia. They had a different numbering system, but they would reprint a lot of the Warren, like they would reprint the American editions, but these were from Australia. And the Australian editions are actually quite hard to find. So if you ever can come across them, they're quite scarce. This is number 19. And the way you can tell that they're Australian editions is usually this symbol right here. You'll see that this publication is for a mature reader. They put that on the Australian editions. And what else is in here? Like so much stuff. It's like a full box, so there's probably like 200 magazines in here. And then we got the Australian Vampirella. And again, they'd just be reprints, but you know, they're kind of cool. They're just, you know, it's kind of cool to get all the different countries that produced Warren stuff. And this is a really kind of a cool one. Vampirella number 5. And I don't have the complete run of Australian ones, but I have a pretty good run of Australian ones. I was really, really trying to collect them at one point. I've kind of slowed down since, but you know, I do have a fairly good collection. So I even have, and this is duplicates. I have 2 of these, I guess. This is Eerie. I have 2 copies of it. Eerie number 7. I didn't realize I had 2 copies of it, but I do. And what else? Let's see what else I can show you that's cool in here. But there's some really great covers. I'll show you some more Vampirella. I like Vampirella the best. It's just my personal preference. But this is my Australian collection. So we got Vampirella, I'm not sure what number. No, oh, it is. It's the same. I think it's the same as the American one. 19. And then we got Vampirella 34. Nice, kind of lab rat, kind of looking like one. And I believe I think this is Frazetta as well. It's a really great cover. They actually made a poster out of this, and I have the poster as well somewhere. But really great Vampirella, not Vampirella, but some bear and a woman half naked. But that's number 37. And this is another one that they did a poster of. Great. And then we got number 42. So yeah, so just a really great box. Has like a bunch of stuff in it. I really just scratched the surface. I feel kind of weird just showing all one box thing. But I wanted to show one last thing from this box. I'm going to put these down. And I wanted to show a couple other bonus things inside of here that were kind of cool. And that I really wanted to show. Here. I want to make sure I got, yeah. And just these ones. Okay, so I want to make sure I showed everything there. Good. Okay, I'm going to put this down so it's not crushing my legs anymore. It's quite heavy. And I'll show you what's inside. So there was a few more items that I wanted to show because I think they're cool. I think they're great. I hope you feel the same way. These ones are really quite rare. It's like a lot of the time when Warren would publish outside of the United States, what they would do is they would the publishers outside the US would rename the series based on local languages. And they would sometimes change the name of the characters and stuff like that. So this is Dr. Tetrick, which is, I believe, equivalent to Eerie. So this is kind of cool. Dr. Tetrick. Either Eerie or Creepy. It's one of those two, actually. And this is another one. It's kind of cool. I believe it was Eerie. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. And sometimes, this is actually, so these ones actually were the same as the US in terms of the covers, but sometimes they would actually have unique covers. And I do believe Dr. Tetrick is Eerie because if you look at this one, this number 32, you'll notice that's Cousin Eerie up there. And but it's a different cover than anything that was in the US. So that's kind of cool. Like when you get these kind of foreign editions that have like their own special covers, it's kind of cool. And it's a really nice cover. This one I'm going to show even though it has a bit of nudity, but it's very artistic. So I'm going to show it anyways. And it's very subtle. This is 1984. And it's just like another one of these Spanish 1984s. And just really great art and just kind of fun stuff. Actually, I'm not sure. That's not, that's Italian. Sorry, Italian. I can read Italian and Spanish, but yeah, that's Italian. So the Warren basically published all over the place, and they would use local publishers and sell them the rights to Warren so that they could publish it. So you got all these kind of cool localized versions of Warren, and sometimes they would include other stuff. Like the French ones would have like French writing, and not just writing, but like translations, but they would have like stories and stuff that were in French. Usually like all text-based stories where they would explain about different movies or something like that. So it was kind of interesting, the local versions of Warren Publishing. And then we got some more Italian ones. This is 1984. And then we have, they even came out with a special, the 1984 special. So 1984 was a series that was in the Warren Publishing. It was called 1984, and then later changed its name to 1994. But the interesting thing was, in Italy, the series lasted much longer than its American counterpart did. And it became sort of like equivalent to maybe like heavy metal or something like that, where it kind of outlasted even the Warren generation. I think some of these are into the 90s. Like this is, it doesn't say, but I believe it ran into the like the late 80s, 90s, when as Warren Publishing actually ended in 1983. So even though the American version of Warren Publishing had collapsed, the foreign editions kept on running, and a lot of them did run long past the American counterpart. So that was kind of a cool thing. I figured I'd show those, a little bit of bonus. Hope you enjoyed seeing a little bit of my collection. There's just a ton more. Like I didn't show it, but what I did was, in this room, in order to sort of clean up the space, there was, as I said, 150 boxes. Well, about 25 of those boxes, or almost 30, somewhere around there, 25, 30 boxes, were all just my Warren collections, either my foreign editions or my American editions, my Canadian editions, my, like all the different editions of stuff of Warren Publishing. And what I did was I put all of those into one closet. It's just filled up with Warren Publishing. So it's going to be hard to get things out of there, but you know, it's just packed with all my Warren stuff. So that was one of the things I did in order to try to organize this room. And yeah, it's kind of cool, you know, finding all this extra stuff that you'd even, I forgot that I hadn't seen these covers for a long time, and finding that sticker, like you got to realize that sticker, I know it seems kind of lame, but that sticker is a rare find. Normally you pay just like $100 just to buy a silly sticker. Like it is that rare. So it's a kind of a cool item to find, that somebody, you know, normally that would be a bad thing that they stick a sticker on your book, but in this case, the sticker itself is what you're looking for. So yeah, so it was kind of cool. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have a question that you want me to answer for next week, and I hope I won't babble too much about it, but I will give you a good answer, please put it in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer the question that you ask. Not babble too much about other things. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Bye for now.